Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Sam Chlebowski with us today. Sam is co-founder at Motion.io, it's a client portal and project management software for agencies, SaaS companies, and service pros. He's in Denver, Colorado, occupied various marketing roles early in his career. I'm in Oaxaca, Mexico, and this podcast is brought to you by podpair.com. If you want to start your podcast with AI, we have an automated way for you to do so to generate leads, insights, and connections at scale. So you can go to podpair.com. We have a free ebook and a masterclass for you. Sam, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to.
Yeah, and thanks for having me, Charles. I am excited to be doing this podcast today, and comes at a good time in classic, startup founder fashion. I was up late last night, kind of reworking all of our performance marketing campaigns, and I know that's some of what we'll talk about, in this episode. But yeah, so what I'm up to, what I'm building is Motion.io, which is a project management platform specifically for client work. So it allows folks to onboard clients, automate the collection of files, feedback, signatures, forms, whatever else are a part of that onboarding process, and then work with clients all in one space. So instead of using a separate suite of tools like, Asana, Monday, ClickUp, Trello, whatever, to manage the internal aspects of projects, and then use another set of tools, whether that be Slack, some other client portal solution, or even just email, you can do it all within Motion.io, all in one place. So the reason why we started this business is it really evolved out of a desire to, kind of scratch our own itch. My co-founders and I all spent the earlier parts of our careers building agencies, software companies, marketing consulting businesses. And one of the things that we were always searching for was that like one home for client work where we could give a client a nice portal. They would see, hey, this is how the project is progressing. These are the things that you need to do or we need from you. For example, feedback, information, and then be able to manage aspects of that project and communicate with the team internally, because after you get that stuff from clients, there's a whole set of tasks that need to be done. And we wanted a way to manage all of that work in one place, let the client know what we're working on, but also be able to have private discussion threads and things that we are just doing internally that we don't want the client to see. So kind of navigating that view of client projects where it's like, hey, client gets access to all the information they have, but not, or all of the information we want them to, but nothing we don't.
Interesting. Yeah, client portals. I think what was the tool for that? Was it Go High Level? Is that a competitor of yours or?
So interestingly enough, Go High Level is not a competitor for us. They are a tool that many folks come to us and integrate with Motion.io, because Go High Level, where they really shine is from a CRM perspective. So getting leads into your funnel, reaching out to them, automating some of the email flows, but they don't really have a robust like portal solution or project management aspect of it. So we have dozens of customers who they integrate Go High Level with Motion.io. So when a contact enters a certain stage of a pipeline or is flagged with like a certain lead status or label, they'll automatically send them to Motion.io, create that project, and kick off that work with the client in Motion.io, getting the client to sign their initial contract, complete their onboarding form, stuff like that.
Right. And client portals, how useful are they? Is it just like a vanity piece in which it is like, hey, I have my own platforms and I'm organized? Aren't they like, I don't know, not useful? When I onboard clients in my agency, we have a Google Docs. I mean, it looks less professional, but it checks pretty much all the boxes. If they want to chat with me, they can just reach out via WhatsApp, and then we have automated reports sent to them by email. So what is the use of a client portal?
Yeah, and so that's a great question, Charles. And we have people coming to us all the time who are using that exact process. They're doing like text, WhatsApp, and then they just have like some Google Doc that acts as their client portal. That works totally fine at a certain level of scale where you can set all of that up. And, if you're working with a couple clients a month, no problem. You continue using those processes. But what we've found at Motion.io is at a certain point, using these disparate tools, these disparate systems to communicate updates to clients, inform them of what's going on in the project, and have them complete tasks for you. If you're using disparate tools, at a certain point, those start to break. And there becomes a point where it's vital to your internal processes where you want to start automating certain things, certain repetitive tasks that you're doing every time, things where you have to customize that doc for every single client that you bring on. We automate a lot of that process. So Motion.io, some of the big things that we do is any task that you assign to a client, it automatically follows up until they complete that based on the due date. And then we also have automated workflows built directly into the platform. So if a task is completed, you can automatically kick off the next task or the next set of tasks in a project, which saves a ton of manual project management work. One of our businesses that we've worked with, so is kind of a cool anecdote. They had a team of 4 people doing client onboarding. That was the only job that those 4 people did, just client onboarding.
Yeah.
After switching to Motion.io, they were able to reduce the size of that team down from 4 to just 1 person because they were saving so much time by automating a lot of those processes. So where we really find Motion.io works best is if you're onboarding, anything more than a dozen or so clients a month, Motion.io will save you a ton of time. And that comes from, and a lot of the ideas for this project was at the last business that I helped grow and we actually exited from in 2020, we were onboarding at our high peak 300 clients a month. And the lessons that we learned from operating at that scale were the direct inspiration for the Motion.io platform.
Was that Castos or?
So that was not Castos. That was right before this. That was at Brighter Vision. Brighter Vision is still exists. It's a marketing company and website design service for mental health professionals.
Yeah.
I started as employee number 3 there, was hired by my now co-founder as the 3rd employee, helped grow that business from about 250 clients to 5,000. And then we exited that business in 2020.
Right. And in Motion, what is your role? Mostly growth, I would guess.
Yeah. So, it's classic founder stuff where, you're wearing all of the hats, but where my sort of area of genius is, because I have 2 other co-founders, we can kind of divvy up the roles. I lead all of our marketing initiatives. So that includes performance marketing, partnerships, and then I also do a lot of our customer success work. So a lot of days, if you are, sending in a Motion.io support ticket, I'll probably be the one answering that. We are hiring and bringing on some new team members to help with that. But yeah, it's mostly myself and my other co-founder, Perry, managing, our support desk most days right now.
Right. And you offer 14 days free trial, which is pretty cool. Then it's like $100 a month or something like that. How much clients do you guys have at this point to be hiring some new team members?
Yeah, so we have been building Motion.io for 2.5 years now. Currently, we're a team of 7. We have about 500 paying accounts currently with us,
Nice.
but growing every single day. The first year, we actually had 0 paying clients. So you could say that Motion.io in its current form has been around 1.5 years because there was a whole year of user interviews, testing, marketing, a pivot in there at some point prior to launching paid subscriptions for our product.
Man, that's super interesting. Love your transparency here. How did you guys grow up so fast? Do you attribute that to 1 year of user interviews, or was there some growth hacks in the space?
So I don't necessarily believe in growth hacks. I believe in just consistent effort every single day. And there's no like one silver bullet. That said, like the ways that we've really been able to, I think, achieve this level of traction that we do have now is number one, that consistent effort. So we really focus a lot on our organic content channels, but then every single day that I am working, I am in our pay-per-click campaigns, Facebook, Instagram, doing some stuff on LinkedIn, some stuff on Gartner. So that's like Capterra and Get App. And the other part of that, I think, is just a hyper focus on our users and not just building features because they were requested, but really like sitting down with our users, speaking with them and getting insight into like, why do you need this feature? What is the job that this feature would allow you to accomplish? And through those feedback loops and listening super closely to our customers, asking questions, poking and prodding, we've really been able to get the product to a pretty amazing place. Obviously, there's a ton of improvements, a ton of new things we want to do still, but it really comes down to that level of focus of understanding very closely, like what is the job our users trying to do, and then delivering the features that are going to allow them to accomplish that job, while also not having them be ultra specific to one type of use case. Finding features that we can deploy to accomplish that job that are going to apply to a wide variety of different users and use cases.
Right. And by growth hacks, I meant what are you spending your time on sales wise to acquire new clients? Because I understand there's some product led, but as a sales guy, are you doing LinkedIn outreach? Are you cold emailing? What are your consistent, highest ROI activities on a daily basis to advance a company?
Yeah. So we are constantly iterating and experimenting with new strategies. Cold outreach we've done, LinkedIn outreach we've done as well, doing, even just like direct DMs, but also conversation ads that you can run. Didn't see a ton of success with those, so we actually killed them off. But consistently, like month over month, where we are getting most of our leads from is going to be performance marketing, really just getting, hey, this is our solution. This is what we do. This is the pain we solve, getting that in front of people who are looking for us already. And then there's the other side, which is the organic. We get probably the other half of our leads typically in a month in our trial signups are coming from people just, searching around the web. So we get a number of folks that discover us, looking at Reddit threads and just seeing like comments of, hey, what is a solution that provides project management plus a client portal? Get some folks from there. We get folks from like ChatGPT and the other AI search tools lately, which has been really interesting to see that we're getting some impact there. And then, our organic content. We have a YouTube channel. We put out videos. I try and do them every like 2 weeks, but it's just been so busy. I've been a little bit behind on that. But and then we also do. We have a very active blog as well.
And when we started, you said the founder hustle and late night working sessions. What does a day to day in your life look like? How much time do you spend on the startup? And at night, do you focus on like deep work activities, even product activities? Give us an idea of a day in your life.
Yeah, I love that question. It's a great one. So typically a day in my life, and I think this is kind of funny just because. So I think for so much of the world, like we really like champion people who are like early risers, get up at 5 a.m., yada yada. That is not me.
Not
And
me either.
I get my best work done from about 8 o'clock to about 1 in the morning,
I like
typically.
that.
And so, but that said, I'm still on every day around like 8 or 9. And first things that I'm always going to do is check the email inbox for any fires that need to be put out. Always got to be paying close attention to the customers. If there is an issue that I need to triage, if there's something that I can resolve, I want to knock that out, right away. Second thing I'm typically going to do every day is I'm going to go into our performance marketing. I want to make sure basically that the cost per lead of our campaigns isn't too high, that we're not just wasting money and acquiring bad leads. And then what I'll often have at this point, because we have, we are growing our team, oftentimes there's a lot of things that, team members just need help with, either from that morning or from the day before, that I'll go in and knock out. In addition to my roles doing like marketing and some customer success work, I'm also the one who's responsible for all of our sort of primary revenue systems. So that includes like our CRM. We just migrated to HubSpot, which was a big project. We just migrated away from Pipedrive. And it seems like every day there's something that somebody needs fixed or a new workflow we need to set up. So that's often what I'm doing from like 10 to 11 or 12 every day. After that, I often will have either meetings, like I'll have client calls or calls with, potential partners. And if I'm not doing that, I'm working on content. I also do all of our knowledge base articles. So that's something that needs constant updating. And then things like scripting YouTube videos, writing new blog posts, getting social content created is going to typically take the rest of that day if nothing else comes up. But I often will, if I go into the office, I'll often leave at like 3:30 or 4, and then I'll come back, have dinner with my family, sit down, spend some time together, and then after my son goes to bed, a lot of nights lately, just because we've been busy, we've been growing, I'll go back to work from like 8 to 1 in the morning. I'll do that a couple of days, and then probably about the third day, I'm like, okay, I need to get like some really solid sleep, so let me just log off basically right at 4 and then go relax, get to bed a little bit earlier. So, because I think that anybody who's a founder can attest that like it's a grind, but there are also times that it doesn't feel like it, because you can get working on something that you're really excited about late in the night and the hours just slip away. Like the only other experience I've had that's close to that is like before I have a 2-year-old, but before he was born, I used to, when I still had free time, before I was a dad and both a co-founder, I used to play video games quite a bit more than I do now. And that's the only other time that I've seen the hours just slip away like that. There is something so like satisfying to me about working on something to the wee hours in the morning. I'm passionate about it. I want to get it across the line, and it doesn't even feel like work at that point. I'm just in this sort of like flow state. So
Yes.
but I think that that's like the reality. If you are somebody who's wanting to start a company, a business, like you're going to be working all the time. So make sure that whatever you're starting, you're passionate about it, because if you're not, or if you have questions about the value or the service that you're delivering, that work is going to be a lot harder.
Right. Or recondition your brain, or use crutches like coffee at first, right? Until
Yep.
you find your ikigai. I think the greatest flow state producer and rabbit holing tool nowadays is chat gpt, because you always have like an AI assistant, or maybe your tool that does some of that, but you always have someone with you to motivate you and to keep you accountable. I use my coach GPT for that, and it's just like stacking momentum on top of momentum, and it just doesn't stop. And next thing you know, you spend 12 hours working, and you're like, I want more. Like a fucking addict at like 11:30 p.m. in the bed, still on Chat GPT. Like yesterday was my brain didn't want to go out.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And like what I love about AI and using AI tools is that for me in the work that I'm doing is it allows me to get from, hey, we have this idea of this thing that we want to do or try, to here's the first version of that.
Yeah.
so much faster. Like for me, I'm able to use AI tools a lot of time to just completely eliminate that like writer's block, which is so helpful.
Yeah, and that is friggin' game changing. Never in history that has been possible. Back then, it was like, oh, I have this idea. Maybe I outsource it to an employee. It's half baked, then it doesn't ever get baked. Or like me back then, I used to use Trello, and I used to have 3,000 tickets in there, all ideas, right, that needed to be done, implemented. There was no like real next steps, right? So love that. Um, how was the transition for you to from a growth person working in the company to an actual founder and entrepreneur? How was it rough, or was it like a really natural procession?
Oh man, nobody's ever actually asked me that before, and I mean, I'll be just totally open book with this. It was hard. It was really hard because there's a different mentality that you need to have when you're a founder than when you're working for somebody else, your employee. And what I learned, so like one of my first big lessons was, as a founder, nobody's going to ever tell you directly. I mean, maybe one of your co-founders will, but I think you need to operate under the impression that nobody's ever going to tell you when to stop doing something or when the thing that you are working on is a waste of time.
Yeah.
And that was a huge learning point for me, of just like understanding that I need to be really proactive in seeing, hey, is this marketing initiative working? Is this way that we're onboarding our own users working? I need to have my finger on the pulse of those things constantly, because I need to know the second that those things aren't working, so I can reallocate my time elsewhere, because there's a million things to do every single day. I never get my to-do list done every day, and you're constantly prioritizing and reprioritizing. So that was like really the first skill that I learned. And the second big lesson, which I think is a little bit more personal to me, is understanding what I don't know and looking for people that I can learn from. I think that initially there was this sort of hubris that I had of like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I've worked at startups. We took one to a successful acquisition. I helped grow that company. I thought that I knew everything. And after getting punched in the face a couple of times, especially in those earlier months, it really humbles you, and it really forces you to admit, like, hey, I have so much to learn, not just about this business, but about how to be a founder, how to get things across the finish line, how to kill off the things that aren't working, and how to ruthlessly prioritize where I should be spending my time every day. So that was, I would say, like in a nutshell, like those are my two big lessons. And learning those was hard. It was challenging. I think that now that we're 2.5 years in, things have started to feel more natural to me. And I think I'm starting to also do a much better job at that ruthless prioritization I pointed out as being so important. But it took a while to get there. And I don't think that, for any first time founder listening to this, you're not going to be a natural overnight. The best thing that you can do is look for people to mentor you, look for people who are going to give you good advice and tough advice. They're going to be real with you. They're not going to sugarcoat things. And so I'm really fortunate that my two co-founders both built and exited successful businesses previously, and they are about 10 years older than me. And I'm really able to like lean on them at times for advice, for feedback. But if you're starting something on your own, I would say, definitely worth, probably in the earlier part of your journey, finding a mentor, finding somebody you can talk to, who you can run the ideas by, because those feedback loops are really important.
Love that, dude. Well, that podcast passed really quick. I guess flow state. Where can people find out more about you, Sam?
Yeah. So if you want to find out more about me, enter my name on LinkedIn, send me a friend request. I'm an open book. You can also go to motion.io. That's our domain name, just motion.io in your browser. Learn more about our product. And then feel free, if you are watching this, have questions about our product, the things that we're doing, feel free to email me directly. My email is super easy. It's just sam@motion.io.
With Sam Chlebowski and Charles Cormier for another Founder Wisdom